I will say, I wrote even in my notes, I was like, the Atlanta Dream's issue is their coach. I feel like it caused them to keep losing. So, okay, come on, Tina. I can mention that. Okay. Hey y'all, welcome back to our channel for another episode of Jonesing for the Dub. We are in the post-Olympic break. Eagles preach, because guess what? The USA 5-on-5 women's team brought back another gold medal. We are so excited, but let me pause my break and just say welcome again to another episode. We'll get it right into it with the Weekly W. Alright y'all, so like I said, the USA women's national team made history with their 8th straight Olympic gold medal. I know that's right. 61-0 in Olympic play is crazy. Unheard of. But that's the USA, period. And I also want to say, give a shout out to the 3x3 team because they also brought back the bronze medal. I want to give a special shout out to Dearica Hamby, who stepped up in Cameron Brink's place to help USA take that medal home. I also want to give a shout out to the team itself because those ladies started off 0-3 and then they went home with the medal. I know that's right. And speaking of Dearica, I would just like to say we are on your side. I don't know if everyone's heard. If you haven't, I will give you a download right now really quickly, but Dearica is in a lawsuit with her former team, the Las Vegas Aces, as well as the WNBA. We get really into that on our socials, especially on TikTok. Follow us on all of our social media, but I just want to give her some support. We are with you, Dearica. We wish you the best. We hope she gets the justice that she deserves. All right, y'all. So like I said, the 5-on-5 team did take home that gold. Child, they had us on our knees. My asthma, I swear, was about to be triggered by this game. I'm not even playing. 67-66 over France. Before we get into the US players, I do want to give a special shout out to Gabby Williams. Girl, first of all, if y'all don't know who Gabby Williams is, she went to UConn, won a national championship with Brianna Stewart, other players, Mariah Jefferson, if y'all know UConn at that time. She also then was drafted by the Chicago Sky, so she technically is a WNBA player. She took 2 years off to go back to France to play with them in their national team, but she could be coming back as sooner than we think. There are some rumblings in the air. She might be coming back next season, maybe even this season. We shall see. But Gabby shook the table. I didn't expect it. The USA team obviously didn't expect it. They were not as prepared as we thought for Gabby Williams, but I just had to give her a shout out because, girl, you almost took it from us, baby, but you know, USA. Anyway, I would just want to shout her out and just want to give her good grace for that game because she really did that. But back to our team. So Team USA took home that gold, and I gotta say, I love Team USA, but I don't think they showed up their best, which they know. They kind of looked a little scared, a little discombobulated, but then she is my MVP of that game. Every time they needed to change the momentum of the game, Ka was there. To have a player like her who is unafraid to drive, even if it's Brittany Griner herself in the paint, that's exactly what the team needed, and she was able to bring that to them to help them bring that win home. And so I gotta say, I know Asia Wilson was the one who won MVP of the Olympic basketball, all of the tournament, but Ka, for your first Olympics, girl, I am so happy for you, excited for you, thankful you were there, first of all. But I think with that, we're going to continue to see Ka go off now that they're back in the WNBA, back in the States. But I had to give her that shout out because it was something special to see. If y'all missed it, I hate it for you. You better go watch the replays because she was doing it just about every single game. So shout out to Team USA. We got the gold, her. And speaking of MVPs and things, I do think, speaking of Asia, that she will continue to be the top contender for MVP as the WNBA comes back into play, as they already started on August 15th. With probably Brianna Stewart, Stewie, and Nafisa Collier following right behind her. But I don't see anyone coming to really challenge Asia in that. That's still my prediction for MVP, but it's going to be really fun to watch. And speaking of, now that the WNBA is back from their post-Olympic break, we should be expecting to see a lot of action from these ladies, a lot of competitiveness, a lot of people coming even harder, especially those players who did not play in the Olympics, did not do any player. They were doing a lot of training, taking a lot of time off to get better. And so I think we're going to see some exciting playing. If you haven't already been tuning in, baby, we're already starting to see it. Caitlin Clark just had 29 points, a double-double, girl. And so did Kalia Copper. To wear your Chicago Sky jersey to Chicago, they give you a tribute. You drop 29 points on them. Give them a kiss on the head and say, bitch. I literally, if I was a Sky fan, I would take that personally. I would take that personally. And you ate that call. I love to see it. I also don't know if y'all seen the Atlanta Dream just beat the Seattle Storm at the final buzzer almost. Tina Charles, it was 2012 again. I felt chills. I said, ooh, is this March Madness at the University of Connecticut? Because what do you mean? What do you mean? And then the girls getting scrappy. Sophie Cunningham to the front. Because why are you scrapping on the first week? Why? And right behind her, Kelsey Mitchell, Natasha Cloud. Please, ladies. But we tried to tell you, WNBA been like that. And it's just gonna keep going. So as we see more of these races and contenders for these races, expect to see these women continue to put the pedal to the metal. And speaking of, I want to touch on the Rookie of the Year race. Like I mentioned, Caitlin Clark just showed up with 29 points, 10 assists, a double-double. Expect to see the same thing from Angel Reese. These are the top two contenders that we're seeing for Rookie of the Year, and I expect them to astronomically go off and off and off. For Angel and Caitlin, I'm really excited to see them go head-to-head for this. For Caitlin, I really think it's important to be just a little more selfish. I don't think Caitlin's a selfish player at all, but I think she loves to give the assist to her teammates. However, I think she should really use this two-man game with Aaliyah Boston to get more open shots. She'll get more open shots for her team. But if you're so focused on the two-man game with her and Aaliyah, it opens up so many more shots for especially Caitlin off the ball once she comes off that pick and roll, but also for Aaliyah, for the Fever in general. For Angel, I really think it'll be important to continue hitting the boards, but to go up strong every time, regardless if you get the foul. Sometimes players go up strong and they kind of lean away a little because they want the ref to call that foul. Angel does that sometimes, she knows. But if she just goes up strong, regardless if she gets that call, she's going to make way more shots fall in the paint and in her mid-range game that she needs to secure that Rookie of the Year spot. So those are my thoughts so far for those contender races and for especially Rookie of the Year and MVP. But girl, let's get into some more things on where we're going for the post-Olympic break. So I really want to get into really quick just some important things to look forward to, some important dates especially. So the regular season began again on Thursday the 15th of August, and on the 20th is the trade deadline. This is very important for people to know. You will see teams either try to stop their free agents, which means these players are eligible to go to other teams, to look at other options, to be traded to those other teams. You might see some big players get contract extensions to try to stop them from leaving, or you might see some teams give up some vets. They might have had some rookies they don't really think fit with their program anymore. You also might see some players who were injured or took a year off, or maybe didn't even make training camp rosters or even final rosters get signed on with these trade deadlines, or some big blockbuster deals between one team and another so that they set themselves up for success for especially next season. I think it's also important to note we have a new team coming to the WNBA next season, the Valkyries from Golden State, and we don't know what their role is in this whole trade deadline. At least I don't know. If you do know Valkyries, let us know. But I am curious to see, because they don't have any players drafted yet, what their role looks like. Like, are they looking to sign players who maybe weren't on other teams or took breaks like Gabby Williams, you know? Are they looking to sign these players? Are they waiting to see who they draft first and then trade? I would love to see what their role will be in this. But if they don't have a role, then we'll see, of course, the 12 teams we have right now working on those trade deadlines and things like that. After the trade deadline ends, we'll continue on with the regular season. Then the playoffs begin after that. That's what we'll also see around the awards series, where you'll see MVP, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player, Defensive Player of the Year, those awards as well. And then the season will end. So those are the things to look forward to for especially this month, the trade deadline. Keep an eye on that. Keep your eye on Twitter, the WNBA site, all these teams' socials, because that's where they'll announce it. But yeah, those are some really good things to look forward to. So let's get back into the regular season and the rankings. So here are the team rankings from 1 through 12. And please remember, the top 8 teams are the ones who go on to the playoffs. So what do y'all think of the ranking so far? For me, I'm not very surprised. I do expect the Liberty to clinch going into the playoffs. I expect the top 5 teams, honestly, to continue clinching it. I think the Liberty don't really need to change anything of how they're playing. They just need to keep that trajectory going. Lean on especially Stewie and Jonquel to take you to the top. Of course, Sabrina with her threes, but Nigel with especially her shooting, but also especially her defense. They'll continue to clinch that spot. The Connecticut Sun are coming for that spot. I expect them to continue to battle out in the playoffs themselves as well. It's going to be so interesting, child, to see Marina and Dejanay come together, child. I can't wait to see that. I'll be set, girl. I also think the Minnesota Lynx, as long as Nafisa Collier stays healthy and they continue to use her as especially that force that really drives the team together to continue winning, they're going to be just fine. Seattle Storm, they really need to continue to lean on Jewel Lloyd. I know their team is very stacked. They have so much talent, but Jewel Lloyd is really the key to their win. She is unlike anything other. She is literally the female Mamba. Kobe really trained her in that. So I think they need to lean on that rather than other players. I'm not saying that don't mean the other players can't shoot or something, but make sure the ball touches Jewel's hands on every single possession. I kid you not. They will be successful in that. Las Vegas Aces, I think it's going to be really important for them to show their dominance now, especially that they have Chelsea Gray, who is healthy because she showed up through the Olympics, to come back and show their dominance. She's called the point guard for a reason, so I need to see them show their cohesiveness, especially with that starting 5 with Chelsea in the gameplay again. For the Atlanta Dream, who are in that number 9 spot, I think it's important that they just broke their 8-game losing streak, which is so important. But to get over that hump to make it to the 8th spot, they need to lean on their team cohesiveness. And no shade to their coach, but it's not news that there is some adversity, there is some tension between the players and their coach. Their coach needs to set them up for success. You have Tina Charles, Ryan Howard, and Alicia Gray on a roster together. You should be winning games, but I don't think they're being coached for success 100%. There's some frustrations that are obvious for their team, and they need to get over that hump to make it to the playoffs because they are a very capable team to do so. Indiana Fever, I think it's important to lean on that 2-man game from Aaliyah and Caitlin first. Let the ball touch their hands, either of their hands, on every single possession, and you're going to score. But then you have to get back on defense and stop the other teams as well. I think sometimes their defense is a little lacking. They can be a little soft because they're young. The vets can sometimes take advantage of that. But I think they can show up against the vets like they have been doing in some games to take those wins. Chicago Sky, without Marina Marbury, I think it's important to lean on your bigs. You have Camila Cardoso down in the paint. Use her. Yes, she is a rookie, but she is also a dominating force to be reckoned with. And to have her with Angel Reese, who is consistently getting double-doubles, a top contender for Rookie of the Year, use them. I love their guards, but I think sometimes they can be a little selfish with not passing it down low when the girls are open, and then letting them bring it back out to someone like Kennedy Carter or someone like Dana Evans to then shoot the 3 instead of just settling for 3s before looking into the paint. That's important to keep that playoff spot. So those are some highlights that I think were really important to touch on for these upcoming games and for these teams to continue keeping their playoff spots. I think the teams that are below the top 8 need to really work hard to get those spots, but if they don't feel like they're clinching it, just finish out the season really well. But I'm really excited to see this play. Who are y'all looking forward to see? Who do y'all think is going to make it into the playoffs? Do you think it's going to change it all? Let us know in the comments. All right, y'all. So that's all we have for this episode. Believe me, there's way more to go into on other episodes as well as on our socials. So thank you, first of all, for tuning into another episode of Jones for the Dub. Make sure to follow us on socials at Jones for the Dub on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Click that little notification bell so you can see when we drop our episodes. But for now, we'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all. Why Asia and Bam Adebayo have been dating for forever. Not forever, but like a few years. And they don't post each other. They don't want to mention it, but everybody knows. But why y'all both 6'7", 6'8", trying to be inconspicuous? Hold hands. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just saying. And I love them both, but I'm just like, they walking around like, oh, I'm like, you're this fucking tall. One, everyone's gonna see you. We saw your secret little handshake after one of Asia's wins with Team USA, so just kiss. Like, just kiss.